Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is the case of the Idaho quadruple murders. Today I'd like to focus on KAYLEE, Jade, Gonsalves. It was said that KAYLEE had a stalker in the beginning of this case. I always like to go back to the beginning because I believe that most of the clues lie in the beginning. The police debunked it, but I would just like to check. Let's not forget that we've heard that KAYLEE had most of the injuries. And the shop manager of a vape shop said clearly that KAYLEE, Maddie, and few of their friends would come together, and Maddie told the shopkeeper that KAYLEE had a stalker. I have every reason to believe the shopkeeper, and if Maddie told him that, there could be something to look at. KAYLEE's LinkedIn account was logged off 13 hours of the unalivings, that we say on the 13th of November. Her sister Alivira had KAYLEE's LinkedIn account, and when she logged onto it, it was working. But in a short time period, she got a message and she checked the LinkedIn account and it was logged off. I personally believe that this house was watched. It's possible that KAYLEE and Maddie, especially KAYLEE, had a stalker, because we heard KAYLEE asking Maddie, what did she tell Adam? And Maddie said, I told Adam everything. Right before that, Jack Showalter said, you know they're going to get you for this, Maddie. So I wonder what happened at the corner club. Did KAYLEE or Maddie say something to Adam about, example, fraud, trafficking, drugs, anything that was supposed to be kept a secret that KAYLEE could have found out, and she must have thought that she was talking to a friend, but the friend must have deceived her and told the people involved. That is a possibility.
4 students from the University of Idaho, and tonight we have learned that authorities are now investigating whether one of the victims may have had a stalker. ABC's Kayna Whitworth again tonight.
Tonight, with the search for the killer of all 4 University of Idaho students now in its 2nd week, police say they're looking into whether victim KAYLEE Gonsalves had a stalker.
Is there confirmation that KAYLEE specifically had a stalker?
So detectives are aware of this information and we are investigating it. It's a whole nother dynamic of this investigation.
Police maintain this was a targeted and isolated attack. The victims were found on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the off-campus home, the 2 survivors on the ground level. The coroner says the victims were likely asleep when they were stabbed multiple times with a fixed blade knife, but there was evidence of defensive wounds. Overnight, Ethan Chapin's grieving mother burying her eldest triplet, his siblings by her side.
Today we're here to honor the life and legacy of our son and brother, Ethan Chapin, one of the most incredible people you'll ever know.
That Chapin's girlfriend, Shanna Kernodle, seen in this TikTok video from inside the house with roommates Gonsalves and Madison Mogan. The faces of the 2 surviving roommates blurred because police haven't released their identities yet. But also in that video, you see Gonsalves' dog, which authorities say was found unharmed at the home. Tonight, this college town increasingly on edge, but authorities remain optimistic they will find the killer.
That may come from tips, that may come from evidence collected on the scene, but there is a piece of evidence out there somewhere that's going to help us solve this case.
And David, authorities telling me they're learning a lot more as community members are sending in surveillance video. This as moments ago, the university thanking Idaho State Police for stepping up patrols on campus for the foreseeable future.
Start with that story confirming that KAYLEE had a stalker. So take me to that whole situation with the business in town and what you found out.
Yeah, this was interesting, Ashley, and we didn't expect it. We went to this vape shop in downtown Moscow looking for surveillance video. I mean, we've been going all over the place just trying to get any new information. And the manager actually knew KAYLEE and Maddie. They had been there 6 or 7 times. And then he had a lot to say about the potential of this stalker. Listen to what he told me.
So KAYLEE and Maddie would both come in very happy, very friendly. You know, they always were just such a smile on their face. Just like pretty much you would say the light of the world, pretty much. You know, always happy, go lucky. They always came in just chatting. They always came with a group, like I said. They probably I'd say 4 or 5 girls at most, all the time. They come in together. And I made a joke about it earlier. It was like, you know, hey, you know, coming together and stuff like that. You know, just it's nice to see you girls trying to stay safe. One of them more or less openly says, oh yeah, we've had a friend of ours be stalked before, so this is kind of why we all travel in a group like this. And just was it KAYLEE who said that, do you remember? No, it was Maddie who actually said that. So Maddie said it, and it was kind of like more mentioning, like motioning to KAYLEE too, like who was right next to her, so you could tell that like they obviously all were trying to keep KAYLEE safe, you know, and to be there for her as good friends. And then yeah, to know that a few weeks later, now I won't see them, you know, anymore, anything like that. So it's crazy.
How long before the murder about was that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks beforehand, because I was telling them I hope they had a good Thanksgiving break and everything like that too, because I didn't know if I'd see them again. So, because with a lot of the times with the kids, with the way after a pandemic, some of the kids leave and wave. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to see you this weekend or not. Hey, hope you have a great, you know, Thanksgiving with your family. And that was the last I saw them.
Did they elaborate any more on the stalker comment?
They more or less kept making the comment that it always seemed to happen either by the campus or down on Main Street. And the last time the KAYLEE more or less made it sound like it seemed like it was down on Main Street, and that the person was coming from like around the Corner Club area, and then kind of like as far as I remember, it's the guy who ended up like trying to go and talk to her, and then he gave up on it, and he ended up walking away. So she thought she was being stalked up to a certain point, and then looked behind her, and he was no longer behind her. So
I just want to make sure that I get it right. So just
yeah.
Tell me again exactly what you remember.
Just more or less, I made a joke about them being in a group, and they just said, yeah, you know, one of our friends motioning to KAYLEE that she'd been stalked recently, and so that had people constantly following her around. And it's not just a one-off thing, that this is apparently something that KAYLEE had tons of issues with. That apparently she always had somebody who's constantly walking behind her like that. So, and it was more so at nighttime when they were out there drinking and stuff like that. Because I asked them, like, is it at school? And she's like, no, when I'm at night, going out to the bars or coming back from the bars. And again, living down that way.
Did she specifically mention the Corner Club?
Not the Corner Club, but just in that general direction and stuff like that. So, the only reason I would assume the Corner Club is because that's the only bar that's down in that area anymore now. So, we used to have 2, one was CJ's and then the Corner Club. It's just Corner Club now, then a whole block before it mingles, so.
How many times did you see KAYLEE and Maddie? How many times would they come to the store?
I'd say, now that I'm trying to think back in my head, I've only saw them maybe like 6, 7 times total. So I'd say probably since the start of this beginning of this year.
So we know that police have looked into the possibility of there being a stalker. Latest we know from police is that they've never found anything to corroborate there actually being a stalker. They looked into an incident, Ashley, you might remember, from mid-October from a business downtown, and said there was nothing there that they could figure out that it was actually a stalking incident. We're not sure if that's the same incident that KAYLEE and Maddie were talking to the vape shop manager about, but certainly interesting to hear him say that.
It seemed like he had spoken with them multiple times and about that topic multiple times as well. What about surveillance video from his shop, that manager? Was he asked for it? Does he have any? Would it be helpful anyway?
Yeah, so he says police came to his shop a couple of days after the murders, and the video had been deleted there. He doesn't have cameras on the outside, but I guess they were still interested in video on the inside since the girls had been there so many times. But like so many other stores that we found, the video deletes after a week or two.
What about the police? Did he tell the same story to the police that he told you?
He says yes, and he mentioned that he has called the tip line, and also that the police had been in the store. So it appears that they are aware of the story.
So the question is, did KAYLEE actually have a stalker? I don't think the shop manager would have made this up. If Maddie told him that we are surrounding and looking out for KAYLEE because she has a stalker, and KAYLEE saw someone near the corner club side stalking her or falling after her, and when she turned back, the person disappeared. What could this be about? This was a targeted attack. So was somebody following KAYLEE? Could that be the reason KAYLEE started studying from home the last month before the unalivings? Just because the police have debunked it, it doesn't mean that there wasn't a stalker in this picture. Maybe the police just did not find anyone giving them the correct information. People could have been misleading the police, because if they give the right information, then the police could find out what was the motive and who was stalking KAYLEE. I personally believe KAYLEE had a stalker. This is for fair use purpose. This is from Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia. Please like, share, and visit her channel. She has a big channel. Olivia does some extraordinary work in many cases. She does her research, and she was in contact with the G family, KAYLEE's family. She did even an exclusive interview with the family. So I'll let Olivia explain it better about KAYLEE's LinkedIn account, which I find to be very suspicious, which I find to be extremely important. Let's not forget that at 11:58 on 13th November 2022, the surviving roommates called Hunter Johnson. Instead of calling 911, that's after 8 hours, and Hunter Johnson called 911 from one of the surviving roommates' phone. We don't know why it took 8 hours for them to call 911. But let's listen to what Olivia has to say.
LinkedIn situation. So Olivia, here's a video of her showing me this screenshot right here. The green right here by the profile picture says that this account is active. Olivia screenshotted this at 11:33 p.m. on November 13th. This is about 19 and a half to 20 and a half hours after the murders, which is alleged to be between 3 to 4 a.m. And this is about 12 hours after the 911 call was made on November 13th. This is less than 24 hours after everything happened. This is very, very strange that her account is active. And this is where it gets weirder. So Olivia, she was shocked when she saw this. She screenshotted it. Then she went to show her friend. And when she went to show her friend, she clicked on KAYLEE's LinkedIn profile and it had disappeared. Not available. Her account was literally deactivated and wiped out. the big question is, who was logged into her LinkedIn account and why did they delete it? Literally less than a day after the murders happened. Super, super strange. Olivia was enraged. She told me she emailed Moscow PD and said, "Why did you delete my sister's LinkedIn account?" They responded and said, "No, we did not do that. In fact, it's illegal for them to delete any social media profiles. It's illegal." So that brings into question, were they lying? Did FBI do this? Did LinkedIn delete this? But it's strange because let's say the reason why, because this is something that actually Bullhorn mentioned to me, a possibility. What if the company KAYLEE was working for was being doxxed or something? Because, and I have it blurred out, the name of the company, just for privacy reasons, but obviously at the time anyone would have been able to see the company she worked for. What if people were calling them and doxing them, and maybe the company emailed LinkedIn and said, "Can you please take down this account, whatever, we're being, doxed." But that doesn't make any sense because that is super quick. That is literally 12 hours after the 911 call was made. So unless LinkedIn's customer service is that fast, would they even have permission to delete an account? I mean, I don't know the whole process behind LinkedIn deleting accounts. It just is very strange to me.
Olivia gave us some valid points and explanations, and I've actually researched LinkedIn. I remember a couple months ago, I even opened a LinkedIn account. And I found it quite interesting, especially as a mental health counselor. It was kind of strange because I got many job opportunities, although I wasn't interested. I'm doing well with my job. But it gave you all the options of different kind of jobs, mental health, engineers, all kind of jobs, sales, etc. And I researched a bit about LinkedIn. The LinkedIn account can be closed by LinkedIn itself if, just say, there's harassments from the account or violations of abuse and such things. But I agree with Olivia, it was too quick. I don't think LinkedIn would have closed KAYLEE's account within 12 hours. And like you heard, Olivia Gongalves, KAYLEE's sister, contacted LinkedIn. She contacted, the police. She sent them an email and she asked them, "Why did you close my sister's account?" And they said, "We don't do that. That's illegal." But then we know that the FBI can, in a way, lie legally so that nobody tampers with the investigation. But let's not forget, the FBI joined this case on the 17th of November, 5 days later, which I found very strange. Moscow Police Department did not request for the FBI until the 17th of November, which I think was very unprofessional. Honestly, that's my opinion only. If they requested for the FBI to come into this case immediately, I think that the evidence would have been collected in a better manner, quicker manner, and the FBI would have gone to work, like the professional work they usually do. So I find it very interesting, if the police did not close this account, the FBI did not join this case until the 17th of November, that's 5 days later, LinkedIn could have closed the account, but not within 12 hours. I don't think anyone would have contacted them to tell them that KAYLEE, unfortunately, is deceased, has passed away. My other question could it be possible that KAYLEE got this job in Austin, Texas, that we are aware of? Could they have asked LinkedIn to close the account as soon as they found out what happened to KAYLEE so that people wouldn't start harassing them? That could be a possibility. But my main question is, if the account was active, you can see it's green. Why did it close right after Olivia Alivira Congalvis showed a friend? She wanted to show a friend KAYLEE's account, and then she saw it got logged off. So it got logged off somewhere after 11:38 p.m. very quickly. So my question is, did someone have KAYLEE's passwords, information that they could have logged off at KAYLEE's account? Now, one thing that I find interesting is you can actually make big money transfers from LinkedIn accounts, up to $500,000. So if KAYLEE, example, had a stalker, she was being followed and watched, and if KAYLEE had a LinkedIn account, was somebody using KAYLEE's account to transfer money? Or was there some kind of dodgy business going on in this account? Could they have, the person who had KAYLEE's password and information, could they have transferred the money, made transactions, and when they were done, they shut down, closed down the whole account? That is possible. Because let's not forget, it took 8 hours for the surviving roommates, DM and BF, to call the police. They didn't even call the police after 8 hours. They decided to call Hunter Johnson, which does not make sense. So anything could have happened in that 8 hours. There could have been a cleanup. They could have been transferring money from KAYLEE's LinkedIn account, because KAYLEE has not only a LinkedIn account, KAYLEE had a Facebook account, she had a Snapchat account, she had an Instagram account. So how come none of those other accounts were logged off? Why the LinkedIn account? And strangely enough, KAYLEE was going to move to Austin, Texas. Could this have something to do with the new job that she got? And this is only for speculations. In my opinion, Jack D was dating KAYLEE for many years and they shared the dog Murphy. Maybe KAYLEE did not change her passwords. And you know how it is. Usually your partner or your boyfriend could sometimes get access, or you could tell him yourself the passwords and all. Could Jack D have given someone KAYLEE's passwords? Or could DM and BF have seen KAYLEE's passwords? So the question is, who logged off KAYLEE's LinkedIn account? She had 185 connections, one mutual connection. KAYLEE started a new position as commercial operators intern. A highly motivated individual who excels in fast-paced environments while working as part of a team. I have excellent oral and written communication skills and are well versed in communications needs of a wide range of clients. Automatically, I have excellent Organization, and then it's written see more. Organization skills, I would assume. 185 connections. Could someone in that 185 connections, could someone have been transferring money to KAYLEE and expecting KAYLEE to transfer it back? This crime could have easily been about something connected to money. Maybe drugs, maybe some kind of trafficking. Because let's not forget, KAYLEE was being stalked. I'm not saying that KAYLEE was into drugs or fraud or anything like that. I'm just trying to say somebody could have easily, let's not forget, a 21-year-old girl is a young girl, young woman. When you're in the college life, you can get yourself quickly into something you can't get yourself out of. And for KAYLEE to be, I personally believe that KAYLEE was being stalked because the shop manager looked very genuine, and if he said that it happened a couple of times and KAYLEE actually saw somebody following her near the corner club, I'm sure it was daytime, and when she turned back, the person disappeared. KAYLEE had one of the most injuries, according to her parents. They would know because they got to see the coroner reports and they got to see their daughter. It's heartbreaking. We saw the picture Saeed was watching. KAYLEE was in the sitting position like her family, her parents explained, allegedly. So what was going on in KAYLEE's life? Let's not forget KAYLEE got a new Range Rover that costed a big money. She could have been paying the money in installments, could have got a bank loan, or she could have borrowed money. We wouldn't know that. Only KAYLEE would have known that, and the police would know that. So could there be something about that too? So according to the police, they have not been able to verify or identify a stalker, receiving other tips from the community, like surveillance video. And since the case is on gag order, we do not know what they actually have and what they don't have. I'm sure Moscow, Idaho is not such a big place or city. There's just few shops in the main center. Coffee shops. There's the Mad Creek restaurant where Maddie and Xana worked. There's the grub truck that we've seen at nights. There's the corner club. There's some few other clothes shops and all. There's the library, coffee shop, vape shop. So if KAYLEE had a stalker, they would be able to see that. Just because the police said they haven't verified anything doesn't mean that there wasn't a stalker. And this was 2 weeks after the quadruple murders. The FBI could have found more things. But I personally believe that KAYLEE could have had a stalker.
Videos like these of the students posted to KAYLEE's TikTok. They could help in the investigation. This one showing her, Maddie, and Shanna seen along with their surviving roommates whose faces we've blurred. One of the last videos posted shows KAYLEE and Maddie, lifelong best friends.
In a case like this, though, where the victims and the survivors were all so active on social media, is that helpful to the investigation to learn about them and their friends and their lives?
Well, I think it's both helpful and it also just enlarges the investigation overall. It just has more people for us to try and contact and try and get information on the evening in question and just be able to do a full analysis and review of the case.
I find it strange that the information officer from Idaho, in this case, said that when it comes to the social media, it just enlarges the investigation and there's more people to question. I think, in fact, that is good. The question is, did they do that? A second thing that I noticed that I find it a bit strange, but maybe the way cognitive behavior therapists work and mental health counselors could be different from the police, but I'm sure the FBI work a bit like the counselors. Because in counseling, what we always do is we are more focused and interested of not only the person's whereabouts or how they felt the day before or the 2 days before, a week before. We like to ask questions a year before, 6 months before, to find out, like if the person is suffering of depression, anxiety, etc. It's like doing a case study on a person. And I'm sure the FBI crime behavior does that pattern. The police should be more focused on maybe 6 months before the murders, a year before the murders, to find out. Maybe I would have checked from the time KAYLEE moved to 1122 Kings Road. I would have checked all the roommates. Where were they living before? Who were they talking to? How many friends did they have? How many people did they fall out with? Could somebody have been stalking them? Could somebody have been envying them, being jealous of them? Did they get threats? Obviously, the 4 victims are dead. May they rest in peace. So that would be a bit difficult. But then the more questions you ask and the more people you talk to, you never know who could actually tell you something. It's not only the close proximity like neighbors and such things. The investigation should be much wider. Like I would have asked even friends they have in Washington Pullman. Example, if they have any. I would have checked into Hannah Clay's case. I would have checked into Hudson Lindo's case. The boy was found in the creek in April 2022. That was like 5 months before the quadruple murders. Could that have been connected? Such questions are important to dig. I would have interviewed everyone at the grub truck. An hour before the girls came, up to an hour after the girls left, maybe up to the place closed for the night. Why aren't the police investigating the threat that Jack Showalter actually posed? He said, you know they're going to get you for that, Maddie, or we are going to get you for that, Maddie. That's a threat. If it wasn't a threat, he was telling them about a threat that somebody is going to get them. And unfortunately, they got them 2 hours later. What kind of investigation was going on with the police is really fascinating. They were debunking everything from the beginning. Pay attention to the police interviews and the police conference. Were the girls gagged? Were they tied up? No. Did KAYLEE have a stalker? No. Like, you don't debunk things so quickly. You have to leave an open room for anything. Because this was a targeted crime. They did not even know if the house was the target or the students, the victims, or the target. Why were the 2 surviving roommates left to live? Why would you leave someone to tell the story? Doesn't make sense. Dylan was busy opening a room 3 times. It's a house that makes creaky noises. I've heard a lot of rumors about the owners of the Mad Creek restaurant. Nobody seems to be talking much about them. They have a new owner called Jackie, a woman. But before that, it was Greek owners. And this is not the only restaurant they have. They have one in Alaska too. I wonder if they have one in Arizona or New Mexico or Nevada. Let's not forget, Maddie and KAYLEE, two of the victims, worked here. Could they have been the targets? Could Maddie and Zana have found out something that the owners were up to? Could they have told KAYLEE? Was KAYLEE being stalked and the girls because they knew secrets that could have got these people in prison for life? Was these organizations? Because to do a quadruple murder like this, I personally believe that it wasn't just a crime of passion or a madman just stalking for girls, because there wasn't any sex assaults on the 4 victims. I personally believe it has more to do with drugs or money laundering, something like that. And that makes more sense if organizations are involved, and if they are, just say, example, the cartels or something like that, nobody's going to talk. Nobody wants to lose their life because they've seen what has happened to these 4 victims. And if KAYLEE had a stalker, I start automatically thinking about W.S.U. Kim. I don't care if some YouTubers have debunked her. Nobody has the right to debunk anyone because we ain't law and enforcement. There's a lot of truth in what W.S.U. Kim has said, and there's a bit lies in that. She could be attention seeking just to be on the internet and online for a long time. But what she said in the beginning wasn't only what she said. There was rumors about drugs. She said that the whole college knew that there was going to be a shakedown that night. You've heard of Maddie flushing maybe drugs. Could that be true? Could that be false? Just a question. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. It's important that we check each and everything, whether they're being debunked or not by the police. I'm not talking about YouTubers debunking people. That is wrong. Nobody has the right to debunk anyone. Everyone has the right to come with the information they can, because we all want justice for these 4 students, 4 victims. And once we start debunking people and calling them liars, as though we have expertise to be calling people liars, we don't have that. We are not the FBI. So even in YouTube, we should have boundaries of not supporting and talking to fraternities and Sigma Chi and Hunter Johnson, because that's a no, no, no. That is a complete no. And we know of certain YouTubers who do that, who say that I'm a good friend of the sororities, I have friends in the sororities, and I have friends in the fraternities. We are adults. And especially as professional people, we're not supposed to be mixing around just to get clicks and views and subscribers, working with Hunter Johnson. Hunter is an important witness, so we shouldn't be tampering with this case. And we have no right to be debunking anyone or anything. If we want the truth and we want the correct justice for KAYLEE, Maddie, E, and Zana, then we need to let everyone talk freely without debunking them. Coming back to the point of KAYLEE having a stalker, since it was mentioned by the guy in the vape shop, the manager, he sounded very genuine. He said the girls, he came there in his shop 6 times. If the girls came to his shop 6 times, he would know more than we. More than us and more than the police. He said that Maddie told them, we are watching out for KAYLEE because she has a stalker. There's been rumors of the landlords of this house being involved with dodgy business. Because let's not forget, the prosecutor William Thompson said in the beginning that, no, I don't think the victims were the target. I think it was the resident. Is that the reason you all demolished the house? Where are the 3 unidentified male DNAs? Why was the house demolished? And why did the owner of the house give that house that was worth $400,000, I'm sure with the ground itself, why did he donate it to the university? $400,000, that's almost $500,000. Why would you do that? It's not that like the university doesn't have money. He could have sold the house and then given quarter of his donation to the university. Make this make sense. Looking at beautiful KAYLEE, all I think of is that they would want the correct justice. We owe that to them. These could have been our children. They could have been my counseling clients. They could have been my nieces and nephew. They could have been anything for us. They could have been our neighbors' children. These 4 students died in a horrific manner. And I'm way down in London, UK. I'm not even in the United States. But I've been watching this case from the beginning, and I want justice for them. I want the correct justice. Maybe Brian Christopher Kohlberger is innocent, or maybe he's involved. I personally have said that. I don't think he's completely innocent. Why was he there? The FBI hardly go wrong. Believe me. And the YY park that he went to was closed when he went there. Unless he was driving around the areas and not in the YY park. He wasn't inside. 2021 November, the COVID was still around. I'm sure there was a lot of restrictions and it was nighttime. I do understand these services could have gone off, but